Good afternoon. I can say that now because it's just turned 12 o'clock. It's Bev Flanagan here, and this is the next episode of the BFF show. I'm really excited today because I said this last time, Elizabeth, to Steve, and I said, I've got one of my old BFFs on, and I said, I've just got to explain. I don't mean that you're old. I mean, I've known you for a while.
No, that's it. And I had that this morning that I was saying it's great to hang out with old friends, but not friend of many years, not.
Yeah, not. But to be honest, I am old, so that's absolutely fine. Do you like my purple microphone?
That's amazing, and just as always on brand.
On brand. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining myself and Elizabeth today. It's going to be another cracker show, and this one is all about bookkeepers and how vital bookkeepers are. And what we're going to say then? Yes, I was going to say, where are you watching? If you can put them in the comments, if you can tell us where location-wise where you are and what social media platform you're watching. So are you watching on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook? If you could just let us know, that would be fab. So, Elizabeth, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you. Well, thanks for having me on, Bev. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm part of the ICB team, the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. And I'm still relatively new there. I've been there for about 4 or 5 months, but my background is hanging out with accountants and bookkeepers through roles at Iris Software Group and with Centre as well, which is how I first got to know you, of course. And
exactly. How long have we known each other now? It's been a good few years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah.
How long? Like literally about,
I think it's maybe 4 years.
Well, I think it's longer than that.
Just feels longer sometimes. So
just feels like that. Cheers.
So Bev and I first met when we were working at Centre. Well, I was working at Centre and you were a Centre customer, and we worked together at Iris. And now it's really great to get to hang out with you again when I'm working at ICB. So I joined the ICB about 4 or 5 months ago, and it's great to be part of the team and to be really deeply immersed in the world of bookkeeping. It was always something I was interested in because you're not allowed to have favourites, but a lot of my favourite customers were always bookkeepers. So it was something I felt quite an affinity with. Yeah. I really enjoy the community aspect of bookkeepers, and we'll talk a little bit more, I'm sure, today about how essential they are for business and the impact they can have. But I really like the human beings. Really love the bookkeepers. So it's great to have an official role, to get paid for it. Basically, I'd be doing.
Yeah, you get paid to do what you love doing and chatting to people that you love. That sounds like win-win situation to me, Elizabeth. Yeah. So we were on another session last week together, weren't we? Where the tables were turned. You were interviewing me. So, which was weird for me because I like interviewing, but it was still absolutely fantastic. But what I want to say is what we said last week, that a lot of people might not know this, but I started in industry. So I work for other people, being an accountant in the accounting world for 28 years, long time. Started working for other companies such as the Daily Mail, Rollins and Alliance, St. John Ambulance, etc. I got made redundant from the Daily Mail, and it was a nice redundancy. I say that all the time, even though sometimes you think that's not a good thing to be made redundant.
They often are, though, aren't they? They often are.
Yeah, everybody and everybody gets into their self-employed role of an accountant or a bookkeeper in their own different ways, don't they? So I always like to say my story just to, because I don't know whether you can't look back obviously in time, but I still ask myself this every single day. Would I have started my own self-employment if I didn't get made redundant? And I can't answer that question, to be honest, but I'm glad that I did. Things always work out. Things always happen for a reason. And I love it that I've been self-employed like for the last 18 years now. But when I got made redundant, I decided that I wanted to be self-employed. And I actually started off as a bookkeeper. I went and joined the ICB. Obviously, you've just been mentioning the ICB. So I actually owe a lot to the ICB. And last week we were talking about the awards. So I won in 2012 the small practice. I can't remember whether it's small practice or practice of the year. I think it was practice of the year. I think later on they split it between small and large. But I do owe a lot to the ICB and getting me on my journey to where I am now. And yeah, I don't think I shout that enough, and I need to. The role of the bookkeepers is massive. And I still think it's massively understated. There is still, I feel, and I want to ask your opinion on this because you've worked with accountants and bookkeepers, I still feel there is a little bit of separation between the two. And sometimes bookkeepers do feel a little bit overwhelmed, as if they're, I'm going to say it, a bit inferior to accountants, which they're absolutely not. But I still feel like bookkeepers still have that mindset. What do you think about that, working with both sides?
Well, yeah, well, that's it, working with both sides. And I think it's a bit of an old-fashioned view that a lot of accountants would look at bookkeepers differently.
Yeah.
And because of what a lot of bookkeepers have traditionally done is so driven by data and so driven by the information that you get in and the information you push out, it can be seen as quite a manual process.
Yeah.
But we know that that bookkeepers are changing that. And a lot of this is driven by the tech that's available. You and I are both very involved in the software world as well, Bev. We know that a lot of the functionality that some of the big and small providers are bringing on now has really opened up the role of the bookkeeper, because it's enabled them, it's freed up their time an awful lot to become more than just people who check transactions. It means that they can become business advisors, and they can become true partners for the nation's businesses. And I find that really exciting as well from a bookkeeper point of view, that these are the people that are driving the nation forward, because they're supporting all the small businesses that are out there. And I think a lot of accountants are recognising how important bookkeepers are. And we know that some outsource an awful lot of bookkeeping work, and that works. And then some are bringing it a lot more in house.
Yeah.
And we go back to Will Farnell's book, The Human Firm. He very much places the emphasis on bookkeepers in an accountancy practice. So what we'd say is, if you're going to have a bookkeeper, the role of bookkeeping is so important. It's really important that you have the best bookkeeper that's available.
Absolutely.
And we know that ICB bookkeepers are the best on the market.
Well, yeah, because I was one, so obviously, yeah.
Exactly. But Bev, it's not easy. It is not an easy thing to do, to become an ICB bookkeeper.
No, I know. Just taking a step back, what you just said there, though, you're absolutely correct. Like, bookkeepers are the backbone of businesses. They literally are. And you've said it in a more polite way. How I say it is, if you put rubbish in, you get rubbish out. Sometimes I still say another word that begins with sh, but I'll say rubbish on this show. But that's totally true. And sometimes I think software companies are a little bit to blame for this as well, because businesses listening to the adverts that say you don't need a bookkeeper because the software is going to do it all for you. What a load of rubbish. Like, you still need that human person there, and you still need them to have their knowledge of bookkeeping, because what if something goes wrong? They know how to fix it, and they know what's happening behind the scenes. And how can a business owner run their business without the financials and knowing the details? And see, I'm on one now, look. And
here she goes. Wind her up, watch her go. Yeah, go.
See, I talk very quick when I'm passionate about something. But it's the other thing is, I just think the word bookkeeping is just so understated, like I've just said. Because it's not just bookkeeping that a bookkeeper does, and you've touched on it a little bit. Like, when I was registered with the ICB, I passed my self-assessment exam with them, which meant I could do self-assessments for directors and self-employed people. I passed the limited company exam, which meant I can also do small limited company accounts. I did all the bookkeeping. I passed the payroll exam. So I did, like, more or less everything, which was brilliant for me. And I think still people don't realize that the wide scope of abilities that a bookkeeper can have on a business. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And payroll's a big part of that as well, because we know a lot of our members are involved in payroll, and there's nothing more important, is there, than payroll? Because if my payroll doesn't work, then my children are going to be having cereal for dinner, and I think there is nothing more important than that, and people trust their bookkeepers to deliver on those things. And I think what you were saying about bookkeepers being able to offer a different range of services, that's really important, because a lot of bookkeepers are going to have a close relationship with their clients.
Definitely.
Probably more so than accountants. And we know that a lot of accountants put their clients at the centre. But really, the bookkeepers are there on a regular basis talking to them, and they can support with that budgeting and really providing that financial clarity. And because they're so close to the the end customer, to the end client, then we know that they're going to have more information to make those decisions. So they become more important. But yeah, definitely we are seeing a lot of bookkeepers offering a wider range of services, and that's great because it raises their profile and means they've got they get more work from their clients.
Absolutely. And I know a ton of fantastic bookkeepers, and the majority of them are ICB bookkeepers, and they help their clients with tax savings. They do cash flow forecasts. They're always obviously ensuring compliance and everything. So, you know, all this helps with business owners being able to make future really important decisions. I'm sorry if you can hear feedback. It must be my new microphone. I must sort that out after this one.
I wanted to go back to what you were saying about when you became a bookkeeper and your story around it, because I think that's a familiar one, and that's something that we touch on a lot with our members. The stories are always really interesting. We know a lot of people come to bookkeeping as a second career, and a lot of people come in a way that fits in with looking for a career that fits in with their family or their other commitments. A lot of people often have bookkeeping as an additional career, a portfolio career. There is no one way to be a bookkeeper. Yeah. And what we want to celebrate is all the different types of bookkeepers that you can just have 4 clients and work 10 till 2, or you can go on and grow these 6-figure practices, which we know so many of our members do as well. And there's some really inspiring stories coming out around these practices that are getting bigger and bigger. Great example of this is Safe Hands. So they are a practice run by 2 of our members, and they're just opening their third office, their third branch. Wow. And they're bookkeepers. They're not trying to be accountants. What they're doing is they're entrepreneurs. They're finding a way of running a business, and they are replicating that and scaling it up. So it's just great to have all the different perspectives on it, really.
And I love that because, and as well, it's progressed massively over the years since I started. Because at that time, and I mentioned this with Steve Cox last week, that we used to use those big, horrible red ledger books where you're writing money's in on the left, money's out on the right. There were only one software. I mean, it wasn't in the cloud. And as a bookkeeping firm owner myself, when I first started, because there was not that much technology out there, it meant that I had to go on site to clients, which I wasn't being as efficient as I could be right now if I was a bookkeeper. So, and exactly what James has just put, good point about technology. So let's move on to that. The technology, like I said, that's massively changed, hasn't it? Look at all the software out there now that all talks to each other or sings to each other. The efficiencies that you've got in that, because we're not sat there pressing buttons and inputting. It's massive.
Yeah, and also I'll say that it's changed just in the last 4 years from my point of view. I think you're right that what's really exciting for us as users and as consumers of software is the way that is the wider suite of things, really, that we know that there are lots of different apps available. Having the understanding that these apps need to talk to each other is really important. And you're seeing some really exciting innovations from Sage and also our friends at Iris in terms of the longer suites that encompass everything. And they're really interesting as well, because it means that you're not clicking in and out of different things, or your data's in one place. But technology like that is really life-changing and enabling. And a lot of our members, we know, are working, when I say flexible hours, it's people working 10 till midnight, because that's what suits them. And they're able to do that because of cloud technology. They can work at home. And also they might have the and I do sometimes switch back into my Iris mode, Bev. But if they're managing if they've got practice management software, you can log on, you can see what other people have been doing throughout the day as well. So it's really fueling a revolution in the way that we all work. A lot of that came down to the pandemic, didn't it? Here I am at home, working at home. But the technology is driving change and also opening up the industry to so many new people, and that's really exciting.
It is, definitely, and like you said, exactly for that point, it's it's a brilliant profession. We help so many businesses to help them to move forward with their business and their profitability, but also it's one that is flexible, so you can do it around your family or lifestyle. So it's just perfect. I just wanted to say about one win that I had as well. And if you're a bookkeeper watching this live right now, if you want to put in the comments of any wins that you've had with your clients. But when I was in practice, I had a client that didn't have a bookkeeper. Oh, well, he did, but it was like that dodgy Dave one, that, you know, the one that's always in the pub.
We know them.
Yeah, we've seen him quite a few times that way. Anyway, my client should have been VAT registered 18 months before I started with him. So we got on with the bookkeeping for him, got everything digital in the cloud. We used QuickBooks to do his books. Everything was all fine. He got a VAT inspection because he's going to, is he, being that overdue. But because of the nature of his industry, he got £31,000 VAT refund back. Now, typically, I know I've had VAT inspections before, previously working in my employed roles, and that inspection would have probably took about 2 weeks of time-intensive labour of an HMRC agent coming out and checking all the files. Because we did it all correctly, it was all online, everything was in the cloud. It took about 5 hours, that assessment, and the guy got his 31 grand back within a week. That's purely a bookkeeping job.
Yeah.
We changed lives with that, because that guy then went on to go and employ a salesperson that then increased the value of his business. So it truly is life-changing what we do as bookkeepers.
I think so, and I think it's holding bookkeepers to account as well, isn't it? Like you say, we all know a dodgy Dave, and we're really proud of the reputation that ICB has got in terms of being quite tough. Actually, you know, 80% pass mark is the highest in the business. The exams are tough to pass. We're lucky we've got some amazing training providers, Training Link and Ideal Schools, that are really supportive. We've got loads of stuff on the website if people need help in terms of like mock exams and revision hubs and things like that. And also, excuse me, people can take exams at any time they like, because our exams are online, and you choose when to take them as well. But it's tough. It's really tough. And it's because we want people to know that when they have ICB, that people have really earned it, and you're going to get the best in the business.
Absolutely.
And we're also really tough on our AML legislation as well. And we're very much kind of leaning into that. We're here to support our members, very much so, to make sure that they remain compliant. But we're doing our job in terms of holding up very, very high standards for making sure, all your customer checks are in place and all those sorts of things. We've got great AML team. We've got Abigail Chamberlain, who's just knows everything there is to know, and is always on hand to talk to members, to support them, making sure they've got everything in place. So we don't want to catch anyone out. We want people to succeed and be part of that, and that's really important.
I like that, and it definitely is important. Obviously, this day and age, there is so many dodgy people out there that can, ruin people's lives, and for the ICB in particular to keep its members safe and to have uphold this high reputation, especially like you just said with the 80% pass mark. Yeah, that's quite high, but that just shows surely that you've got the best bookkeepers there that are regulated by the ICB.
Yeah, that's what you say.
Tell us a bit more about the ICB then.
Well, I was going to say, so there's two things I want to talk about with the ICB.
Why the ICB?
Why the ICB? Well, it is about to have it going somewhere where you can be your best, and you're going to be supported to be your best. There's also an awful lot of flexibility in terms of the way that you can learn and the way you can move through the exam system and the support you get when you do that. There's also you don't necessarily have to come in via the exam route. We have an exemptions route which takes into account previous work experience, your existing work experience where you are at the moment, and other work you've done before as well. So we're always open to that. But the single most important thing I would say about the ICB is that when you're part of ICB, you are part of a community.
Yeah.
And that's really important. First of all, it makes you feel really lovely that you've got lots of people that you can connect with and rely on. Second of all, it's really helpful in a sort of practical way. And a lot of people involved in our branches will say, especially when lots of people are working at home on their own, a lot of people say it's like having a colleague that you can kind of lean over and ask a question to. And I think that's really important that you have those networks, and we encourage those networks through our branch meetings, and also our summit, which we'll come on to very shortly. but you know, we had the Facebook groups, different branches have different WhatsApp groups as well. So we know that it's very supportive. And also it's the opportunity for work as well, that there's a big culture within ICB of moving, of sharing, of outsourcing different elements of work. And especially if people are at different stages of their journey and they haven't got the level 4 self-assessment, they know that they'll be able to find someone that they can trust, because they're an ICB bookkeeper, to outsource that work to, and get work back the other way as well. So
that is lovely, though. Yeah, that's been going on for a while now, because I remember myself, and it's definitely, ICB does definitely create a community feel. And obviously we've got the lovely Amy as well, who's now CEO, and she's got so much passion and energy for the profession and taking it forward. I love listening to Amy. Every time I see her at an exhibition, I always listen to her. She's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's, she knows everything about our members and the way ICB works. Yeah, she's great. She'll come on next time, but I just nabbed you this time.
I will have Amy on my show soon, don't you worry. So tell us a little bit, you said about the summit. Tell us about that.
This is the biggest week of the year. It's set in Global Bookkeeping Week, which, I mean, as you know, is 6th till the 10th of November. She says, looking at calendar. So for those of you who haven't been involved with the ICB or haven't been involved with the Bookkeepers Summit, we have developed the event to create a hybrid event. As we say, you know, you've got to define things to suit you, and do things to suit you. But it really is very much worth being in the room where it happens. So it's on Monday the 6th of November. We will gather in London at a really bougie hotel. It's where we went last year, Bev. You were there last year.
Very nice.
And opposite Big Ben. So it's a beautiful hotel, and we gather, and we've got a whole day of fantastic talks. We've got some great guest speakers, also some really well-known industry names. We've got Her Royal Highness Joe Wood is going to be there talking about pricing. We've got Will Farnell. We've got all the we've got Paul Aplin give us some updates on tax. We're going to be sharing some updates around AML with Gary Carter, our Gary Carter, no relation. And also we're going to have some really good talks from the likes of Alex von Schermeister from Zero, our old friends at Iris. They're going to be there as well talking, and it's really the opportunity to get together and to meet up with your existing friends, and also to make new friends as well. And what we're really pushing this year is that we have new people coming, and just to kind of reassure people that you might come along not knowing anyone, but there's just no way in hell that you're going to be walking away without 10 new friends, because it's got a great vibe, isn't it? Hasn't it, Bev? It's the best way to describe it.
Absolutely. But what is it right now that's a bookkeeper, an ICB bookkeeper? Or they don't just have to be an ICB bookkeeper to come?
No, you can. No, you don't. No, you don't. Well done. Yes, no, you don't have to be an ICB bookkeeper.
So what if a bookkeeper's watching right now and is not as excitable, shall we say, as me and you, and chatty and is happy to go up and talk to people? What if they're a little bit shy and a little bit uncomfortable going to a place where they know there's going to be a lot of people, never been to an event before? Can you reassure them?
Yeah,
they're not going to be pounced on. They're going to, they're going to be looked after.
Yeah, and it's different if people have been to something like Accountex before.
Yeah.
Which we love, we really enjoy, and that's such a great event. We love going there. It's quite different because there's one stage. So it really is our summit, it's our conference, it's our chance to get together with all our members and share, really important updates about what's going on at ICB, what's going on in the industry. And yes, we have an exhibition hall, and we have our partners there, our hand-picked partners. So we know people that that suit bookkeepers and meet our very high standards. So there is an exhibition hall, but I think generally the feeling is of a community coming together. I think one of them said it's like having being round at your nan's house on Christmas morning and all your cousins popping round. But yes,
that's cute. Who said
that? It was, and also we have our advisory council, which is made up of 14 members who, from big and small practices, and they're around. And and they're be there talking to people, and the ICB team are really friendly. I love a chat. Come talk to me. It's a good thing.
And from when I've been before, if you go and you don't know anybody, honestly, it's the best opportunity to go and meet people. Like I say, you're going to be there, Elizabeth, aren't you? So people can come and grab you if they don't know what to do. They're a bit unsure. It will be the best thing for them to go. Oh, absolutely.
And if you can't get to London, you can always come. Oh, great! James is coming.
James, we love James.
Welcome. Fantastic.
James has got a fantastic product.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. I'll let him tell you about that.
Okay, make sure you come and say hi, James. So yeah, it's great. It's a great environment.
Just got to stop you there, James. What swag are you bringing for the bookkeeper? More importantly, you know, while we're just waiting for him to type that. Go on,
yeah, we know that, and that's something we're talking to our software partners about. My colleague Sophie and I would talk to a lot of our software partners about coming to the summit and really helping them understand bookkeepers and helping them understand the requirements of bookkeepers and how they're different to accountants. And we say, make sure you bring the stuff, because that's so. If you can't go to the in-person summit on the Monday, we are running 2 days of virtual summit, so you can get a separate. Oh, James has said that's a surprise.
Oh, party pooper.
Well, I think you're right. I think we will have to go. I think we'll have to go buy tickets to the summit. So if you're not interested, if you can't get to London on the Monday and you don't want the things that James is giving away, then you can attend our virtual summit. You can get a separate ticket for that. We have a tech day on the Wednesday, which is full of demos from our software partners. And on Thursday, we run a virtual summit as well. So that's really it's the same sort of themes as our conference on Monday, but it's different speakers.
But the best speakers on that one.
We've got some very good speakers on the Thursday. That's right.
Oh, I'm speaking.
Yes. So on the Thursday, we're splitting into 2 separate tracks for half of the event, and this is really kind of recognizing different bookkeepers. So we've got one track which is called Go Big, and that's for looking at bookkeepers who want to grow and expand, and one track which is Stay Strong, which is for bookkeepers who are just really happy with their model at the moment, but they're looking to improve what they're doing. So Bev,
I love that. I absolutely love that, because everybody bangs on, don't they? Have a 6-figure business, have a 7-figure business. That's brilliant if that's your mindset and that's where you want to go. But some people are just happy with what they've got, but just want to streamline and get better and just increase the profitability. And that's absolutely fine, because we're all different and we all need and want different things. So I love it that you've done that. I really love that.
Yeah. So you're part of the Go Big strand, aren't you?
Yes.
And you're going to be talking about
getting out of the vicious circle. Do you want to tell you a bit about it?
You tell us a bit about it, yes.
Only a tiny bit, because
don't give it away.
Yeah, I'm not giving too much away. Yeah. But from my experience of being having a practice myself and being in this industry alongside, and now I work with accountants and bookkeepers to help them to grow their business and get it to be the best it can be. I see that there's a vicious circle, right, that appears all the time, and it's made up of a few elements. And sometimes you feel a bit lonely if you don't ask for help, and you get stuck, and then you feel like, why have I set my business up? This is not why I set this business up, to run my life like this. And you get stressed and you get tired, and you're looking at everybody else smashing it on social media and thinking, when am I going to get my break? And all it is that you're just going through a few growing pains and you just need help to get out of the other side. I'm not giving any more away, because we've got to come and watch it. Can people go to the live event and the online ones as well?
Yes. So when you buy the in-person summit ticket, and I think it's 130 quid, you also get access to the 2 days of virtual summit as well. Yeah. So really, you're looking at 24 hours of CPD accredited content.
So much content
for the bargain price of 140 quid. Yeah. And I think virtual summit costs are, I think I'm going to say £98. I'm just going to double check that and come back to you. But yes, go have a look on the website, and it's really valuable. And we know that a lot of bookkeepers, judging from the people who've been before and from the numbers that are booking this year, are really keen on doing it.
Also, just before we finish and wrap up, Lucas, talk about the Lucas. So I won 2012, they're coming up as well, aren't they?
So the ICB Luca Awards are the Oscars of the bookkeeping world.
Amazing.
And we have two parts to it. The first part is the Bookkeeper Awards. So you recognise students, new practices, large practice, small practice. You recognise influencers within the bookkeeping space, and the coveted Bookkeeper Personality of the Year Award, which is very exciting. And then we also have the only software awards in the accountancy and bookkeeping space as well. So this is where members and students of ICB have voted for what software is their favourite. So it's great. It's a nice little bit of competitive energy in the room. Yeah, we get everyone along, and it's just a really good party. Really good, great ceremony and a great party.
Nice venue. Nice to get really glammed up and dressed up and see everybody, and lovely food, and it's just brilliant. And being a finalist is amazing in itself, but then winning is like something else. Yeah, no, brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for your time. Pardon?
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the time.
It's been lovely. It's been really nice. We could talk about bookkeepers all day, couldn't we, to be honest? They are brilliant. Like we said, with the backbone of businesses, and they're not, I don't think they're shouted about enough. And I'm on a mission to help ICB to let's get that ICB bookkeepers out there and getting everybody to recognise them and the hard work that they do and what they actually do for businesses and other accountants. And it's going to be great. Right. And I'll see you all on the ICB online. When did you say it was again?
Thursday, the 9th of November.
Only a couple of weeks away, isn't it? That?
Yes, get on with it. Yeah.
So thanks everybody for joining us again on this BFF show, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fabulous rest of the day. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.